One of the first songs I learned as a child was "Jesus Loves the Little Children, All the Children of the World. Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in His sight." However, even as a young boy, I recognized that we didn't always live up to the message of this song. Living in the South in the 1960s and 70s, even a child was very conscious of racial tensions. A few years ago, I watched the movie Remember the Titans. This movie's about a newly integrated high school football team which overcame racial tensions to win the state championship. Throughout the movie, there is a subplot that I found compelling because it was so familiar to my experience as a child. That subplot involves how the morality of the Southern Bible Belt was conflicted by racial prejudice. In one scene, a local civic leader speaks of teaching young people the highest standards of morality. Later, that same civic leader is involved in a scheme to throw a game in an effort to have Coach Herman Boone fired. In another scene, Gary Bertier has invited a teammate, Julius, to his home. His mother is plainly upset. Gary pleads, "Mom, just get to know him." She replied, "Gary, I don't want to know him. Now get ready and go to church." Jesus has commanded, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Many Pharisees were well aware of their own prejudices and hatred and sought to justify themselves. They asked, "Who is my neighbor?" Jesus then told the story of the Good Samaritan who was able to put aside racial and cultural conflict in order to offer mercy to an injured traveler. Jesus tells us that we are all neighbors and we're challenged to get to know one another and love one another. There can be no justification for hatred or prejudice. Too often we're like Gary Bertier's mom. We don't want to get to know our neighbor. But if we're to be true to our Christian commitment, we must put aside our prejudices and open our hearts, homes, and churches to all of God's children, red, yellow, black, or white. This has been Dan Tomberlin, pastor.